Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Starbound Unity, watching the massive space station grow larger on the main screen. The ancient structure slowly turned in the darkness, its metal surface scarred by millions of years in space. No one had ever seen anything like it before. "Captain, we're getting some strange readings," said Maria Santos from her position at the communications console. Her fingers danced over the controls as she tried to make sense of the data flowing across her screens. "The station is definitely artificial, but the materials are unlike anything in our databases." Dr. Lisa Wade, the ship's expert on ancient civilizations, moved closer to get a better look. She had spent her entire career studying the remains of old worlds, but this was different. The station was huge, easily the size of a small moon, and it was clearly very old. Old enough to make her hands shake with excitement. "How old do you think it is?" asked Dr. Alex Carter, the ship's physicist. He was already running calculations in his head, trying to figure out how something so large could have been built with ancient technology. "The decay patterns suggest millions of years," Dr. Wade replied, her voice barely containing her excitement. "This could be from the time of the First Empire, the legendary civilization that supposedly ruled the galaxy before any of the current races achieved spaceflight." Captain Morrison nodded slowly. The First Empire was something every child learned about in school, but most people thought it was just a myth. Ancient stories told of a powerful race that had built wonders across the galaxy before mysteriously disappearing. No one had ever found real proof that they existed. "Take us closer," Morrison ordered, "but keep our weapons ready. We don't know what kind of defenses this thing might have." The Starbound Unity moved forward carefully. The ship was built for exploration, not fighting, but it carried enough weapons to handle most threats. The crew had been traveling for 3 months to reach this remote system, following rumors of ancient ruins found by a mining survey team. As they got closer to the station, more details became visible. The structure was covered in strange symbols and patterns that seemed to follow mathematical rules. Dr. Carter studied them through the ship's scanners, frowning as he tried to understand what he was seeing. "These patterns," he said slowly. "They look familiar somehow, but I can't place why." Dr. Wade was already putting on her environmental suit. "I need to get over there and see this for myself. The external markings could tell us who built this place." "Not alone," Morrison said firmly. "Take a full team. Santos, you're with her. And take Security Chief Brown as well." An hour later, the small team floated through the vacuum of space toward the ancient station. Their shuttle had found what looked like a docking bay, though the design was strange and old. The metal around the entrance showed signs of incredible age, but it was still solid and strong. "The airlock is responding to our signals," Santos reported over the radio. "Whoever built this place used technology that's still partially compatible with ours." The team entered the station carefully, their lights cutting through the darkness. The corridors were wide and tall, built for people roughly the same size as humans. Dr. Wade noted this immediately. Most alien races they knew were either much smaller or much larger than humans. "The architectural style is interesting," she said, recording everything with her camera. "The proportions suggest the builders were humanoid, probably between 5 and 7 feet tall." They moved deeper into the station, following corridors that seemed to lead toward the center. The walls were covered with more symbols and pictures that showed star maps and mathematical formulas. Dr. Carter stopped at one wall panel, studying the equations carved into the metal. "This is impossible," he whispered. "These mathematical constants, they're the same ones we use for faster-than-light travel calculations, but this station is millions of years old." Dr. Wade was examining another section of wall art when she made her own discovery. The symbols were arranged in patterns that reminded her of something, but she couldn't quite remember what. Then it hit her like a lightning bolt. "Jake," she called over the radio, her voice tight with excitement. "You need to see this." Captain Morrison's voice crackled back through the communication system. "What did you find?" "These symbols, they're not completely alien. Some of them share characteristics with ancient human languages from Earth. Proto-Indo-European, ancient Sanskrit, even some elements that remind me of early Chinese characters." The team continued exploring, finding room after room filled with advanced technology. Most of it was dead, powered down long ago, but some systems still hummed with quiet energy. In what appeared to be a control room, they found something that made them all stop and stare. A large holographic display showed a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Thousands of points of light marked star systems, connected by lines that showed travel routes. The map was incredibly detailed, showing systems that human explorers had only recently discovered. "This is a complete map of our entire galactic region," Santos said in amazement. "It shows systems we've never even heard of." Dr. Carter was studying the display controls, trying to understand how they worked. The interface was surprisingly intuitive, almost as if it had been designed for human hands. When he touched one of the glowing symbols, the map zoomed in to show a cluster of star systems marked with special indicators. "These systems are marked differently from the others," he observed, like they were colonies or outposts of some kind. Dr. Wade was examining data crystals they had found in storage compartments around the room. The crystals contained vast amounts of information, but it would take time to decode it all. What she could read immediately made her heart race. "Jake, you're not going to believe this," she said over the radio. "The data crystals contain records of colony ships, terraforming projects, and what looks like contact logs with dozens of different alien species. This wasn't just a space station. It was a command center for a galactic civilization." The team spent several more hours exploring the station, finding evidence that supported an incredible theory. The First Empire hadn't just existed, it had been vast and sophisticated. But more importantly, everything they found suggested that the builders of this ancient civilization had been remarkably similar to humans. The tool designs fit human hands. The sleeping areas were sized for human bodies. The food storage systems contained traces of nutrition requirements that matched human biology. Even the artistic style of the decorations reminded them of human art from various historical periods. As they prepared to return to their ship, Dr. Wade made one final discovery that changed everything. In what appeared to be a library or record-keeping area, she found a data core that was still partially active. When she connected her portable computer to it, text began scrolling across her screen in a language that took her breath away. The symbols were clearly related to ancient human writing systems, but they had evolved over millions of years into something more complex. With the help of her translation software, she began to make out individual words and phrases. What she read made her hands tremble. The records spoke of Earth as the final sanctuary, and humans as the children who would return to claim their heritage. They mentioned a great scattering of human populations across the galaxy, and the hope that someday, when humans rediscovered space travel, they would find these ancient outposts and remember their true history. Back aboard the Starbound Unity, Captain Morrison called his senior staff together to discuss what they had found. The evidence was overwhelming but almost impossible to believe. The First Empire, the legendary civilization that had ruled the galaxy millions of years ago, appeared to have been human. "If this is true," Morrison said slowly, "then everything we thought we knew about human history is wrong. We didn't evolve on Earth and slowly develop space travel. We were already here, millions of years ago, ruling a galactic empire that stretched across half the known universe." Dr. Wade nodded, still processing the implications of their discovery. "The question is, what happened to them? Why did such an advanced human civilization disappear, leaving only Earth to develop naturally?" Dr. Carter looked at the star charts they had copied from the station. "Maybe they didn't disappear completely. These charts show the locations of dozens of other outposts and colonies. If even a few of them are still intact, we might find more answers." Morrison made his decision. "We follow the charts. We find out what happened to our ancestors and why the galaxy forgot that humans were here first." The Starbound Unity changed course, heading toward the next system marked on the ancient star charts. Behind them, the mysterious station continued, its lonely orbit around the dead star, keeping its secrets and waiting for more humans to return and claim their forgotten legacy. The Starbound Unity dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a blue-green planet that the ancient star charts called Sanctuary Prime. Captain Jake Morrison studied the world on his main screen, noting how much it looked like Earth from this distance. The planet was covered in oceans and clouds, but their long-range scanners showed something unexpected. The surface appears lifeless, reported Dr. Alex Carter from his science station. No cities, no signs of current civilization, but I'm detecting massive energy readings from underground. Dr. Lisa Wade moved to look over his shoulder at the scan results. The readings showed enormous structures buried deep beneath the planet's surface, all connected by a network of tunnels and powered by energy sources that were still running after millions of years. Those power signatures are incredible, she said. Whatever's down there has been running continuously for longer than human civilization has existed on Earth. Maria Santos was monitoring communications frequencies, hoping to detect any signals from the planet. So far, she had found nothing but the natural background noise of space. The world seemed empty and quiet, but the energy readings told a different story. Captain, I recommend we send down a survey team, Dr. Wade suggested. The underground facilities could contain answers to the questions we found at the space station. Morrison nodded. The mystery of humanity's forgotten past had been eating at him for the 3 weeks they had spent traveling to this system. The evidence they had found at the ancient station was overwhelming, but he needed more proof before he could believe that humans had once ruled a galactic empire. Take the shuttle down to the surface, he ordered. Full exploration team, and take extra power cells. We don't know how long you'll be down there. 2 hours later, Dr. Wade led a team of 6 people across the surface of Sanctuary Prime. The planet's air was breathable, though thin, and the gravity was slightly lighter than Earth normal. Ancient roads, cracked and overgrown with strange plants, led toward what looked like the entrance to an underground complex. The architecture is definitely similar to what we found at the space station, Dr. Wade observed as they approached a massive doorway built into the side of a hill. The entrance was 20 feet tall and covered with the same type of symbols they had seen before. Dr. Carter ran his scanners over the doorway, getting readings that made him shake his head in amazement. The metal in this door is an alloy we've never seen before. It should have corroded away millions of years ago, but it's still in perfect condition. The door responded to their approach, sliding open with a soft hum that indicated the mechanisms inside were still working perfectly. Beyond the entrance, a wide corridor led down into the planet, lit by strips of light that activated as they walked forward. The lighting system is responding to our presence, noted Santos. These automated systems have been maintaining themselves for an incredibly long time. They walked for almost an hour through corridors that gradually led deeper, underground. The walls were covered with murals showing scenes of space travel, planetary colonization, and contact with various alien species. Dr. Wade stopped frequently to record the images, noting how the human figures in the murals looked exactly like modern humans. These aren't ancient ancestors that evolved into modern humans, she said to her recording device. These are people who could walk down any street on Earth and blend right in. The corridor eventually opened into a vast underground chamber that took their breath away. The space was so large that their lights couldn't reach the far walls, and the ceiling disappeared into darkness above them. But what dominated the chamber was the massive structure in the center. It looked like a computer system, but unlike anything they had ever seen. Crystalline towers reached up toward the ceiling, connected by streams of light that pulsed with data. The entire structure hummed with quiet energy, and displays flickered with information written in the same ancient human language they had found at the space station. This is some kind of central computer system, Dr. Carter said in amazement. The processing power here must be incredible. As they approached the central structure, something unexpected happened. A section of the crystalline surface lit up brightly, and a holographic figure appeared in front of them. The figure was clearly human, but wore clothing and technology they didn't recognize. "Welcome home," the figure said in perfect English. "I have been waiting for you to return." The exploration team stepped back in surprise. Dr. Wade was the first to recover her voice. "Who are you? Are you real or just a recording?" "I am Oracle," the figure replied. "I am an artificial intelligence created by your ancestors to preserve their knowledge and wait for the day when humans would rediscover their heritage." You are the first humans to find this place in 4 million years. Captain Morrison's voice crackled over their radio communicators. Did you say 4 million years? Are you telling us that humans have been in space for 4 million years? Oracle turned toward the sound of Morrison's voice, somehow able to hear their radio communications. Your people did not originate on the world you call Earth, Captain Morrison. Earth was one of the last colonies established by the human empire, seeded with genetic templates to preserve the pure human form. The holographic figure gestured, and the air around them filled with three-dimensional displays showing star maps, colony ships, and scenes of human civilization spanning thousands of worlds. The images showed humans terraforming planets, building massive space stations, and making contact with dozens of alien species. The first empire was not some mysterious alien civilization, Oracle continued. It was humanity's first expansion into the galaxy. Your people developed faster than light travel nearly 10 million years ago, and spent the next 6 million years spreading across the stars. Dr. Wade stared at the images floating around her. They showed humans working alongside aliens that looked familiar, species that she recognized from current galactic civilization. These alien races, we know them. They're members of the current Galactic Council. Yes, Oracle confirmed. Humanity discovered most of these species when they were still developing on their homeworlds. Your ancestors helped guide their development, sharing technology and knowledge to help them achieve spaceflight. Dr. Carter was studying the technical displays that showed human technology from millions of years ago. The designs were incredibly advanced, far beyond what modern humanity had achieved. If we were so advanced, what happened? Why did the Empire fall? Oracle's expression became sad. The Empire did not fall to war or disaster. It fell to success. As humans spread across thousands of worlds, they began to change. Some enhanced themselves with technology, becoming something beyond human. Others chose simpler lives, intermarrying with the alien species they had uplifted. The displays changed to show the gradual decline of the human empire. Worlds became independent. Communication networks failed as people lost interest in maintaining them, and the central government slowly dissolved as humans scattered in different directions. The final emperor of humanity issued the Sanctuary Directive, Oracle explained. Earth was chosen as a preserve world, seeded with carefully selected human genetic templates and left to develop naturally. The hope was that someday, when humans on Earth rediscovered space travel, they would find places like this and remember their true history. Santos looked around at the vast computer chamber. You've been waiting here for 4 million years? Just waiting for humans to find you? Not just waiting, Oracle replied. I have been watching. I monitor the galaxy through a network of hidden sensors, tracking the development of all the species humanity once guided. I have watched wars, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the gradual formation of the current Galactic Council. Morrison's voice came over the radio again. Oracle, are there other humans out there? Other colonies that survived? Yes, Captain. Scattered across the galaxy are dozens of human populations, most of them unaware of their own history. Some have evolved along different paths, developing technologies and cultures unlike anything seen on Earth. Others have remained closer to the original human template. Dr. Wade felt a chill run down her spine. The current galactic races, do they know about humanity's past? Oracle shook its head. The knowledge was lost over time. The younger races built their own civilizations on the foundations humanity had laid, never knowing who their predecessors really were. To them, the first empire is just a legend, a mythical civilization that may or may not have existed. The artificial intelligence gestured again, and new displays appeared showing the current political situation in the galaxy. But now that you have returned to space and begun exploring, it is only a matter of time before others learn the truth. The question is how they will react to discovering that the species they consider young and primitive once ruled the galaxy. Dr. Carter was studying readouts that showed the locations of other human colonies. Some of these settlements are in systems controlled by the Galactic Council races. If they learn that humans have a claim to those worlds, there could be serious political problems, Oracle agreed. The current galactic order is based on the assumption that each species developed independently and has equal claim to territory. Learning that humanity was here first and that they helped create the current alien civilizations could destabilize everything. Morrison made his decision quickly. Oracle, we need to know more. Can you show us the locations of other human settlements? We need to make contact with them before word of this discovery spreads. I can do more than show you their locations, Oracle replied. I can provide you with technology that will help you reach them safely. But Captain, you must understand the gravity of what you are beginning. You are not just exploring ancient ruins, you are awakening a sleeping giant. The holographic figure gestured toward a section of the chamber, where crystalline storage units began to glow. These contain technological knowledge from the height of human civilization: weapons, ships, industrial systems, and terraforming equipment that could revolutionize your current level of development. Dr. Wade looked at the storage units with a mixture of excitement and fear. That kind of advanced technology in the wrong hands could be dangerous. Which is why it has remained hidden, Oracle said. The question you must answer is whether humanity is ready to reclaim its heritage, and whether the rest of the galaxy is ready to learn the truth about their own past. Morrison stared at the displays showing human colonies scattered across known space. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just another young species exploring the galaxy. They were the rightful inheritors of the greatest civilization in galactic history. Oracle, he said finally, show us everything. It's time for humanity to remember who we really are. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood in the Great Hall of New Harmony, the capital world of the Galactic Council, watching as chaos erupted around her. The news of humanity's discovery had spread faster than anyone expected, and the reaction from the alien races was explosive. This is impossible, declared Chancellor Vextar of the Zephyrian hegemony, his tall blue form towering over the assembly. These humans are trying to trick us with fake evidence. They want us to believe they once ruled the galaxy so they can claim our worlds. The Crystalline Collective's representative, a being made of living crystal that sparkled in the chamber's light, spoke in a voice like breaking glass. The mathematical evidence from their archaeological finds is correct. The quantum signatures match our oldest historical records, but this creates serious problems for all of us. Rodriguez tried to maintain her calm as dozens of alien diplomats argued around her. She had been Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council for 5 years, but nothing had prepared her for this situation. 3 weeks ago, she had been representing a small, relatively new species that had just begun to explore space. Now she was speaking for a race that apparently once ruled half the galaxy. Please, everyone listen, she said, raising her voice above the noise. Humanity has no desire to reclaim old territory or disrupt the current political order. We're as surprised by this discovery as you are. But the implications cannot be ignored, said the representative from the Aquatic Federation, his gills fluttering with agitation. If humans once guided our development, if they helped us achieve spaceflight, then what does that say about our independence? About our right to govern ourselves? The debate had been going on for hours, and Rodriguez could see that fear was driving much of the anger. The alien races had built their civilizations on the belief that they had developed independently, that their achievements were their own. Learning that humanity had been their teachers millions of years ago challenged everything they believed about themselves. Back in the Sol system, Captain Jake Morrison was dealing with his own crisis. The Starbound Unity had returned to Earth orbit to find the planet's defenses on high alert. Military ships from 3 different alien races were stationed at the edge of the solar system, claiming they were there for protective observation. Captain, we're getting reports from colonies throughout human space, Maria Santos reported from her communication station. Alien fleets are taking positions around all major human settlements. They're not attacking, but they're making it clear that we're being watched. Dr. Alex Carter looked up from his analysis of the ancient technology Oracle had given them. I've been studying the data from Sanctuary Prime. Oracle wasn't exaggerating about the advanced technology. These designs could revolutionize everything we know about space travel, energy production, and terraforming. The question is whether we should use it, Morrison replied. Every piece of ancient human technology we activate will be seen as a threat by the other races. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa Wade was leading another expedition, this time to the Tau Ceti system, where Oracle had indicated they would find an intact human colony. What they discovered there exceeded all their expectations. The colony ship New Horizon hung in orbit around Tau Ceti E, a massive vessel the size of a small city. It had been there for over 2 million years, its hull scarred by countless micrometeorite impacts but still structurally sound. More importantly, it was still occupied. "We're detecting 50,000 life signs aboard that ship," reported the IM shuttle pilot as they approached. "All human, all in some kind of suspended animation." Dr. Wade felt her heart racing as they docked with the ancient vessel. The airlocks still functioned, and they were able to enter the ship without difficulty. Inside, they found corridor after corridor, lined with suspension chambers, each one containing a perfectly preserved human being. The ship's artificial intelligence activated when they reached the command center. Unlike Oracle, this AI appeared as a simple holographic interface rather than a human figure. "Welcome aboard the New Horizon," the computer said. "I am the ship's controlling intelligence. I have been waiting for the return of human civilization to wake our passengers." "Who are they?" Dr. Wade asked, staring at the readings showing thousands of sleeping humans. "Volunteers from the final period of the human empire," the AI explained. When it became clear that the empire was dissolving, many humans chose to enter suspended animation, hoping to wake when humanity was ready to return to the stars. They have been sleeping for 2.3 million years. Dr. Wade realized the implications immediately. These weren't just any humans. These were people who had lived during the height of human galactic civilization. They possessed knowledge and experience that could help humanity reclaim its heritage. "Can they be safely awakened?" she asked. "Yes, but awakening them will require careful consideration. They will expect to find a thriving human empire. Learning that humanity has been reduced to a single world will be traumatic for them." While Dr. Wade was making her discovery in the Tau Ceti system, Captain Morrison received urgent news from another exploration team. Commander Ryan Brooks had taken a small fleet to investigate the Epsilon Eridani system, where Oracle's charts indicated another human settlement. "Jake, you need to see this," Brooks said over the communication link. "We found them, and they're very much alive." The planet Epsilon Eridani C was home to a thriving human civilization, but one that had developed along completely different lines from Earth. Instead of focusing on mechanical technology, these humans had mastered biotechnology. Their cities were grown rather than built, their ships were living organisms, and they had developed a society based on harmony with biological systems. "They call themselves the Garden People," Brooks reported. "They've been here for 3 million years, and they never forgot their origins. They've been waiting for Earth humans to find them." The leader of the Garden People, a woman named Helen Bright, spoke with Brooks via holographic communication. Her appearance was clearly human, but her clothing and technology were unlike anything from Earth. "We preserved the old knowledge," she said. "When the Empire fell apart, our ancestors chose to focus on biological sciences rather than mechanical ones. We've spent millions of years learning to work with life itself rather than against it." Brooks was amazed by what he saw of their civilization. Their weapons were based on biological systems that could neutralize enemy technology without destroying it. Their ships could heal themselves from damage and adapt to different environments. Most importantly, they had maintained detailed records of human history throughout the galaxy. "We know where all the other human settlements are," Helen told him. "Some have survived, others have failed, and a few have evolved into something that's barely human anymore. But there are still millions of humans scattered across the galaxy, most of them unaware of their true heritage." Back on New Harmony, Ambassador Rodriguez was facing increasing hostility from the alien races. The discovery of multiple human colonies had convinced many species that humanity was planning to reclaim their ancient empire. "These humans are waking up sleeping armies," Chancellor Vextar declared to the Assembly. "They're gathering their scattered people and preparing to reconquer the galaxy. We must act before they become too strong." "That's not true," Rodriguez protested. "We're simply trying to understand our own history. We have no aggressive intentions toward any of your worlds." But her words were falling on deaf ears. Fear had taken hold of the Galactic Council, and fear was driving them toward desperate measures. Several of the more militant species were already talking about a preemptive strike against human settlements. The situation reached a crisis point when intelligence reports reached Earth, showing that the Zephyrian hegemony was massing a battle fleet near their border with human space. The fleet included over 300 warships, more than enough to overwhelm Earth's modest defenses. "They're planning to attack," Morrison told the emergency council meeting he had called aboard the Starbound Unity. "Vextar believes that if he can crush humanity before we fully awaken, he can prevent us from reclaiming our ancient power." Dr. Carter looked at the ancient technology specifications Oracle had provided. "We could stop them. The defensive systems described in these files are far beyond anything the current galactic races possess, but using them would confirm their worst fears about us. And if we don't use them, they'll destroy us," Morrison replied grimly. "Either way, we're looking at the first galactic war in 10,000 years. Rodriguez's voice came over the communication system from New Harmony. "I'm trying to prevent this diplomatically, but the Council is paralyzed by fear. Too many species see humanity's return as an existential threat to their own power." Dr. Wade added her voice from the Tau Ceti system. "I've begun the process of awakening some of the sleepers aboard the New Horizon. Their knowledge of ancient human technology and military tactics could be crucial if war comes." Morrison stared out at the stars, knowing that the decisions made in the next few days would determine the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. The younger races had forgotten that humans were the first galactic race, but they were about to be reminded in the most dramatic way possible. "Prepare for war," he ordered, "but also prepare for peace. Somehow we need to find a way to show the galaxy that humanity's return doesn't have to mean their destruction." The ancient human empire had fallen because of success and complacency. Morrison was determined that this time, humanity would learn from the mistakes of the past. The Zephyrian fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system like a storm of metal and fire. 300 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, their weapons already charging for the attack. Chancellor Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, confident that this show of force would end the human threat before it could grow. "All ships, prepare to attack," he ordered. "We will destroy their homeworld and scatter their colonies before they can wake their sleeping armies." But as the Zephyrian fleet moved toward Earth, they encountered something they had not expected. 12 human ships rose to meet them, but these were not the simple exploration vessels the aliens were used to seeing. These ships gleamed with technology that seemed to bend light around them, and they moved with a grace that defied physics. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the Terra's Pride, the flagship of humanity's hastily assembled defense fleet. The ship had been built in just 3 weeks using plans from Oracle's ancient database, and it incorporated technology that the galaxy had not seen for millions of years. "All ships, maintain defensive formation," she ordered. "Remember, we're not here to conquer. We're here to protect our home." The battle began when the Zephyrian fleet opened fire with their most powerful weapons. Beams of energy that could crack planets struck the human ships, but instead of destroying them, the attack simply disappeared into swirling shields that turned the energy back on itself. "Impossible," Vexitar whispered as he watched his weapons prove useless against the human defenses. "No technology should be able to do that." The human ships responded with weapons the Zephyrians had never seen before. Instead of raw destruction, the human weapons were precise and surgical. Zephyrian ships found their engines disabled, their weapons powered down, their life support systems forced into emergency mode. Within minutes, dozens of alien ships were helpless, floating dead in space but with their crews unharmed. "This is Admiral Sullivan to the Zephyrian fleet," Kate's voice broadcast across all frequencies. "We do not wish to destroy you. Power down your weapons and withdraw from our system." But Vexitar was too proud to surrender. "All ships, ram them if you have to. We cannot let these humans defeat us." The battle continued for 2 hours, but it was never really a contest. The human ships moved like dancers through the Zephyrian formations, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Every alien ship that attacked found itself disabled without being destroyed, its crew left alive but helpless. When the last Zephyrian ship powered down its weapons, Admiral Sullivan opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy. "This is humanity speaking to all races of the Galactic Council. We did not seek this fight, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. We offer peace to those who come in peace." The news of the battle spread across the galaxy in hours. The mighty Zephyrian hegemony, the most powerful military force in known space, had been defeated by 12 human ships without losing a single vessel. The demonstration of human technology sent shockwaves through every alien civilization. On New Harmony, Ambassador Elena Rodriguez found herself in a very different position than she had been just days before. The alien diplomats who had been threatening humanity were now quiet and worried, realizing that they had nearly started a war with a species far more powerful than they had imagined. "The question before us now," Rodriguez addressed the emergency session of the Galactic Council, "is not whether humanity has the power to reclaim our ancient empire. Clearly we do. The question is what we choose to do with that power." Chancellor Vextar, his pride broken by his fleet's defeat, spoke in a voice heavy with defeat. "What do you want from us? Our worlds, our resources, our submission?" "None of those things," Rodriguez replied firmly. "Humanity learned from the mistakes of our ancestors. The first human empire fell because it became isolated and complacent. We don't want to repeat that mistake." She activated a holographic display that showed Oracle's complete historical records, the same information that had been broadcast to every world in the galaxy during the battle. "We want you to understand the truth. Humanity didn't conquer the galaxy millions of years ago. We explored it, we shared our knowledge, and we helped younger races develop their own civilizations." The display showed scenes from the ancient past, humans working alongside the ancestors of current alien races, sharing technology, helping them achieve spaceflight, and guiding their early steps into galactic civilization. "Your achievements are still your own," Rodriguez continued, "but they were built on foundations that humanity laid long ago. We don't want to take that away from you. We want to build something better together." Captain Jake Morrison was watching the council session from the bridge of the Starbound Unity, which was now orbiting New Harmony as part of the human diplomatic fleet. Beside him, Dr. Lisa Wade was reviewing reports from the various human settlements they had contacted across the galaxy. "The awakened sleepers from the New Horizon are adapting well," she reported. "Their knowledge of ancient human technology has been invaluable, but they understand that times have changed. They're willing to work with the current galactic order, rather than try to restore the old empire." Dr. Alex Carter added his own report. "The Garden people have agreed to share their biotechnology with the other races. Their healing techniques and environmental restoration methods could solve problems that have plagued the galaxy for thousands of years." Maria Santos looked up from her communication station. "I'm getting responses from human settlements across the galaxy. Most of them are willing to reveal themselves and join the new confederation we're proposing." Morrison nodded with satisfaction. The plan they had developed with Oracle's guidance was working. Instead of trying to reclaim the ancient human empire, they were proposing something unprecedented. A true partnership between all galactic races, with humanity serving as guides and protectors rather than rulers. Back in the council chamber, Rodriguez was presenting the final details of their proposal. "We call it the Galactic Federation. Each race maintains sovereignty over their own worlds, but we work together on issues that affect everyone. Humanity offers to share our advanced technology freely, but only if it's used for peaceful purposes." The representative from the Crystalline Collective sparkled with interest. "And what of the ancient human territories? The worlds that were once part of your empire?" "Any world that wants to remain independent can do so," Rodriguez replied. "Any world that wants to join human space can do so. And any world that wants to remain neutral is welcome to do that as well. We're not interested in forced expansion." The debates continued for days, but gradually the fear that had driven the galaxy toward war began to fade. The alien races realized that humanity's return didn't have to mean their destruction. In fact, it could mean the beginning of a new golden age of cooperation and exploration. The turning point came when Helen Bright, the leader of the garden, people addressed the council via holographic link. "My ancestors chose to develop along a different path than mechanical technology," she said. "But we never forgot that diversity makes us stronger. Humanity's greatest achievement was not conquering the galaxy. It was helping different races find their own paths to the stars." 3 months later, Captain Morrison stood on the observation deck of the new Federation headquarters, watching as ships from dozens of different species worked together to build the first joint exploration fleet in galactic history. Humans worked alongside Zephyrians. Crystalline beings collaborated with aquatic Federation engineers, and representatives from species that had been enemies for centuries planned missions to unexplored regions of the galaxy. Oracle's holographics form appeared beside him. "You have done well, Captain. This Federation is better than the old Empire ever was." Morrison smiled. "Because we learned from the past instead of trying to repeat it. The galaxy forgot that humans were the first race to reach the stars," Oracle observed. "But now they remember something more important. They remember that the best civilizations are built together, not alone." Dr. Wade joined them on the observation deck, carrying a data pad with the latest reports from human settlements across the galaxy. "We've made contact with 47 different human colonies," she said. "Each one developed differently, but they all share the same basic values: exploration, cooperation, and the belief that the future is brighter when we work together." Ambassador Rodriguez's voice came over the communication system from the Federation Council chambers. "The formal treaty has been signed. The Galactic Federation is now official, with humanity as the first among equals." Morrison looked out at the stars, thinking about the long journey that had brought them to this point. From the discovery of the ancient space station to the battle that could have destroyed everything, humanity had proven that they were worthy of their heritage. "Oracle," he said, "what happens now?" The artificial intelligence smiled. "Now you do what humans have always done best, Captain. You explore, you discover, you build something better than what came before." The Starbound Unity and her sister ships prepared for their next mission, exploring the galaxy not as conquerors returning to reclaim their empire, but as partners in a new age of discovery. The galaxy had remembered that humans were the first galactic race, but more importantly, they had learned that being first meant helping others follow.